Okay, grades 3 to 6. If you're on a computer, you can go ahead and put sketchpad into your search. If you're on an iPad, you're going to need to go to the iPad or the tablet video. So sketchpad 5.1, you click on that. It will ask you if you want to download it, so you just cross that out and just go and we'll just use the regular version. So I've already used it, so here's my pictures just come up. So yeah, don't download, don't buy anything, just it's all for free. Okay, I've saved this picture, so I'm going to show you how to use this site. So I'm going to go to the plus button that says new, and I'm going to click on a blank document and create my blank document. You might, if you've been on this for the first time, you might want to go up to the crop and you might want to just resize. Might just want to resize. So I'm using one that's, I think, I created on my own. So you can go on the up and down buttons. If you can't see the whole page, you need to just make sure that you can see the part that you want to work on. So when you've got your size, then you can start thinking about how you want to fill it. You can either draw everything, or you can use some clip art, or you can do a combination of both. If you click this feather part up here, you get all of the different things that you can draw with. They're very exciting. Lots of people love mirror brush. Mirror brush gives you some lines in the page. So here on this slide, you get the number of lines. So if you just want a simple one, let's say 6 lines, this is the size that you'll be drawing in. So you just want a small size. Go up here, this is going to be the colour that you use. I'm not sure if you can use a fill for this. I like to use the patterns. Okay, it looks like you can use a fill for this, so we'll just stick with, we'll make a nice pretty pattern. Yeah, so we can 6 lines. You can take your mouse to the middle and you can start drawing. If you use a fill, it's going to make your lines full like that. If you turn the fill off to get 0, you're just going to get simple lines. You can change the colour, and then if you want to, you can start at the very top. You don't have to start in the middle. So I'm going to undo that on the undo button. If you wanted to, you could just choose a colour, and you could go a little bit bigger on the line just so that you can see, and then you can make mandalas. So this won't be very effective for our lesson today, because we're going to make a landscape. But if you'd like to make your own mandala, you can play with mirror brush. Calligraphy is just a pen, streamer is just a pen, crayon's a crayon. Stamp gives you different shapes that you can stamp on the page, or you can just drop ink on the page, which I think looks really cool. Let's get rid of that mandala. So you can just do that, or you can find different shapes. So up here you can get a burst of a shape. So you can get regular pentagons, you can get a star. I use the star one for, it depends how long you keep the mouse down as to how big that star is going to be, so you can go little to big. I use this for my space one. So there's a stamp, let's get rid of all that. There is circles, so if you wanted to draw a picture and you wanted to draw a circle and you can't draw a circle, then you could do that. If you want it to have no fill, you can turn this fill one off and just have an empty one. You can make your own background, you can make your own pictures. So that's what that one does. Lots of really cool things. Let's get back to all the different things that you could use. The line and the path, I think I used this when I was creating you can curl it up. I used this when I was creating my picture for space. I don't think I used curly line one. It's quite cool. Every time you let go and click, 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 that's it. I used it as a straight line, but what you can do is you can use it as a curly line as well. So there's heaps that you can play with and practice with. They're all pretty simple. There's a few extras on here, things like web, which gives you a webbed effect when it crosses and in the corner. That's really nice. There's fur, which is almost the same as web, but it just gives you spiky. So if you're going to draw an animal and you wanted it to have fur. Spirograph is a combination of the two. It kind of twirls, so you'll see it go round and round and round. It's very cool. I'm doing everything in black, but you can do these in colours. Arrow gives you an arrow. So they're all pretty simple. You've got an eraser, but I just like to use the undo and redo buttons when I go wrong. So the first thing we're going to learn is how to do a background. We're going to go to vector fill. Vector fill is going to fill the whole background, so you can just click the whole background. And I've got it on linear. Linear is going to mean that you can get this line across and you can change it. So you can change this round. So depending on what one you pick, so if you want to do a sky colour, that's really cool. You can click anywhere on the page and then you can pull your linear line down or across. The other one that's really cool is radial. So if you wanted to have one with a sun, there's a lot down here, there's a heap. So I want one with a yellow sort of centre. So I can push the sun up here and then I can have that as the background. I can start in different parts of the page if I wanted to start up here. So you can make a lovely landscape using that background if you wanted to. Once you've got your vector filled background, then you can start building the page together, the scene or whatever it is that you're building. So we're looking for a scene or a landscape today that we would like to be building. So I'm just going to have the sunshine there. It looks really cool. You could easily do this as a space one. So what are we going to do? Well, I like to use the roller, the tile brush. And I like to use pattern, but you do not have to copy. So if you're going to do an ocean picture, I would like to use a blue outline, and then I'd like to pick one of these sort of patterns. Sometimes it doesn't work on tile. There we go. So I'm just going to change it back to the tile brush. Now the tile brush, you can go up and down, and it's going to give you the pattern. So let's say you wanted a sunshine and some water. That looks really cool. And remember, today we're going for layers. So we're going to choose a different pattern, like a nice light blue, and then we're going to fill in all the gaps. You can just play around with this. So if you do something you don't like, so if you don't like that one, just go to the undo button and keep pressing it until it's all gone. So if you don't like that pattern, you can get rid of it. So the idea is to not really have any white on the page and to fill the whole page with something. So here we go, lots of layers, lots of layers, lots of layers. You can kind of twirl it around and see what happens with your layers. So this is going to be an ocean one, but you could easily just do whatever you wanted to do. I'll show you some examples in a minute. Sometimes it's a bit slow to load the pattern. This one. So you can see I've layered some patterns, and it doesn't matter that they're kind of like not oceany. They can just be anything that you want. You could easily do this with green and it would be like hillsides. I'm happy with that. Another thing you can do is you can pop in and get the crayon, and you could just do a little bit of grey maybe, with a nice bit of grey, and you could kind of add and fill any lines and gaps that you've got. You could just go in and fill them. And if you really don't like that, which I don't, we'll undo it. So once you've got your background, you can put a sunshine in. I'll show you. So if you go to clip art, and you go to this choose graphic, you can write in the top if you would like sun, and then it's going to show you all the choices that you can have. So some are coloured in and some are not coloured in, so you can choose whatever you would like. I'm going to show you how I did my whale picture. So I got my whale. I can have a coloured in whale. I had an outline of a whale, and the reason I had an outline was because I really wanted to colour it in myself. Now he's quite large for my landscape. Now when you stop clicking and you've got your picture, if you leave this guy and you click, it will just keep giving you another picture of a whale, the same picture. So you just click select and then that will stop So I'm just going to change the size of my whale. I'm going to put my whale down here in the ocean. Now obviously my whale isn't coloured in, so I'm just going to go and find some stuff to colour it in with, but I'm going to make a baby whale as well. So I'll choose the same picture, click on that. I didn't want to give me a second picture. So I click on that. And there's, oh, I've got like heaps now. So undo that one. Oh, undo that one. Click on select, and then we'll get our little baby whale. So the only thing is with these is if you're going to colour them in manually, you mustn't then move the picture. So you must have your picture in the exact spot that you want it, which is there. And then I'm going to make, oh, don't want to move that layer. I want to move the baby whale. It's going to be hard to catch him because otherwise I'm just moving all the other parts. Okay, let's just find where he is and move him up there and move that back. So you can see your layers. You can see all the different layers. You can take a whole layer out. You can add a whole layer in. So it's really up to you. I'm going to make this one a bit more of a baby whale. Then you can go and you can start to colour your whales in because they look a bit weird like that, don't they? Let's choose, I'm going to choose the crayon or the spray paint. I think I'm going to go the crayon. I'm going to get rid of the fill, so I'm just going to click, you see that little drop? I'm going to click that drop and it's going to say 0. Okay, I'm going to make my brush that thick. So you'll be able to see where you're going to colour. And this is going to take you some time. If you colour over the black, that's okay because you can actually draw the black line over the top. Remember, this is about layering things and getting them all layered up so that you can't see the layer below. I don't think it matters if you go over the black. So as you colour your whale in, you can start to see it. You don't see the background so much. Now you'll obviously be able to do this a bit better than me because I'm not brilliant at it. I thought I could zoom in on it. You'll probably find a whole lot of tricks and things that you can do. You can take photographs from your desktop and drop those in, but if you are using an iPad, you're going to have to go over to the iPad picture and it's called UDoodle. I'm going to colour over his face, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw it back in. So I'm going to go and get black, and I'm going to draw his mouth, and I'm going to draw his eye. So I'm going to move his eye to there. So you can see you can do that. If you want thinner lines, you can get the pencil, and then maybe you could draw some of those thin lines that whales have across their body. So I can colour in the baby one. It's really up to you how much colouring you do. If you want to make it look like he's in the ocean, you can go back and get crayon. You can get like this greyish colour, and then you can play with the colours. See here where it says the 3 colours? You could go to lighten, overlay, all these different types of colours. Soft edge is what I want. I'm going to give him just a really soft edge. Pretend that he's in the water. Splash, splash, splash. I can also give him water coming out of his blowhole if I want to. And if I want to change that colour, I can just change it, add some blue, some water. If I want that more obvious, I can go to normal colour. So it depends how much you want this to be seen, okay? Now obviously I've not finished, but I'm going to talk to you about how to save your landscape or scene. So when you finish playing with all the features, you can add a text box into this. You can do a heap of different things. There's a whole lot of things that you can play with line and everything. Then you're going to come down to this left-hand side here. This plus button says new, and that will take you to a new picture, and then you'll leave this one. So what you can do is you can go to the export button. It looks like a save button. You click on the export button, and I like to save as a JPEG. When I've downloaded that into my downloads, I like to then move that. So I'm going to move this image, move to, I'm going to save it on my desktop. And then I can shut it. There are other things that you can do too in the export button. Once you've finished, you can print it. You can actually go to share. If you share, it says it will be publicly shared on the internet, so you could do that, but I don't, it takes you to these places that you can share. So if you want to share it to an email or to Facebook or to an adult's phone or something like that, you can also do that. The other thing you can do is once you've saved it to a JPEG, you can then send it to an email as well. So if you just click save, it will be in your downloads. Let's have a look on my desktop to see which ones I've got. So there's the image that we've just saved. So that was the whale with the baby whale, still yet to colour in the other one. And there's another one in progress as well that I was doing. So the two whales I started off with and spent some time. You can see that you can add the splashes, the birds, fish. You can colour the top of the whale one colour. You can really mess about with this program. This one I've just done just a whale. So if you're making a book, like a story picture book, you could make a front cover, you could make pages, because you can add text to all of these. So there's the whales. Here's two that are castles. This one's been completely drawn on the program, so no, only a few bits of clip art were used. So this is clip art, this is clip art, this is clip art. And then there's this picture of a castle, and this was all used with clip art. I did have to actually go into the internet and look for a picture of a dragon to drop in. You can drop in photos, bitmojis, that kind of thing, but we're looking at layering. So here we've got the landscape all layered. So I'd love to see you be able to layer. Some things I've done some pictures from the Antarctic world. So I've got my baby polar bear. So what I did with that, I'll show you how to turn the picture around. So I just got two of the same images and two of the same images, and I just did them at different sizes. Most of this is clip art. I've done all the layering on the bottom. Here I've dropped in a bitmoji because you're allowed to do that too. This one's a desert island. It's got lots of features all the way around it, and the sun's being made. And these ones are space ones. So this was a space one I made using those lines I showed you. And then this one's completely and utterly drawn from the program. So here's clip art, rockets and space planets, but then here it is with just drawn. So you can do whatever you want. Your landscape, your scene can be anything that you want it to be. I think that's all of the ones that I've drawn to show you. So I'll just go back into here. I don't want to do any text, so I'm just going to delete that text box. Okay. If I go into select and I go on to this whale again. So when I'm using the whale, I get these 4 lines, and I can actually flip the whale. I can actually flip the whale that way or that way. So depending on if you want them to look at each other. Now bear in mind, if you wanted to move the whale picture here, all the bits that you coloured in, it really wouldn't line up. Okay, and you can take all these bits off. These are all your layers, 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 layers. Okay, if you've made a background and you want to drop in a picture that isn't in clip art, so if you Google whatever it is that you want to draw and then put PNG, sometimes it will make a transparent background. So if you want a unicorn, I've put unicorn, or you can go cute unicorn transparent background, or you can just write unicorn PNG. So once you find the one that you would like to use, I know this one works, it goes see-through, so it's completely see-through. So I can drag that onto my desktop, open up sketchpad, and I can drop it in. Ka-ching! Now, this unicorn is looking a little bit transparent. So what I can do here is I can go into my tools, and here, this little bar here is going to bring it back to life. So if your clip art is looking really washed out, you can bring it back to life, okay? So I can add in a rainbow over the top of my unicorn, that one. Now, the trouble with this rainbow is over the top of my unicorn, right? So my unicorn's down here going, help, help, help. So this is something that you can do. The one that you want to come to the front, you click on. So in this case, I want it to be the unicorn. So I've clicked on the unicorn. I go up to this sidebar. You see where it says layers, and it says clip art, and there are 3 dots. And then I put send to front, and there is my unicorn at the front. So I think what I'll do is I'll make the rainbow really big, but I'll make the rainbow so that it's a little bit washed out like we had before. That's what I want now. So I'll get this, I'll make it much lighter in the background so that the main focus is Mr. Unicorn here. So there's my unicorn in my background, and that's how it is. Very simple to do. So I've finished it. I'll share it with you. So if you're looking at my pictures and thinking, well, where is that image? It's not anywhere. Then you can basically know that I've clicked and dragged it in. If you want to add a text box, you can add a text box to your work. And you can write something to someone. You can click on that text, you can make that text look a little bit bigger, and you can just arrange everything so easily. It's amazing, this program. So enjoy playing with this, and I hope that that was something that you maybe learned that you didn't know before, and I will speak to you next week. All right, take care, bye.